U.S. Health and Human Services announcing today that the Biden administration will likely appeal the end of the mask mandate on transportation if the CDC agrees that it's necessary. Until then, mixed reaction across the nation and here at home. Katie Munch joining us live at Harry Reid International Airport with what a doctor is saying about the abrupt change.
Yeah, and the message on mask mandates are a little fuzzy here at Harry Reid International Airport. You can see this marquee that says #MaskUp. It's a must in Las Vegas. Now, some are saying the airport says they're in the process of removing them, but because there's so many, they say it will take time. The change is something that the Biden administration says it wants to keep in place. It's urging people not to stop taking precautions, protecting themselves when they're in public places like the airport.
Confined quarters, poor ventilation, the mask is on, wide open spaces, might lose it.
I wore it whenever I had to, but now this is great.
As passengers begin shedding masks in public transit, safety concerns over COVID-19, especially for those who are still unable to receive the vaccination, are beginning to arise. Many are asking if wearing a mask is still beneficial if no one else around is wearing one. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Christina Madison explains.
Obviously, it's better when we have two-way masking, which means you've got both asymptomatic and potentially sick people also wearing a mask, but there is still benefit, especially for those who are immunosuppressed.
How effective is one-way masking?
So it depends on who you're sitting next to. So if you are sitting next to someone who is actively coughing, sneezing, having respiratory symptoms, it doesn't matter whether or not the plane has HEPA filtration, ultraviolet light, and multiple air exchanges per minute.
Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra, in Las Vegas today, says the Biden administration will likely appeal the federal ruling striking down Biden's mask mandate.
We will respect the ruling, but as I say, I'll respect the ruling, but I follow the science. And I would urge, as Governor Sisolak just did, people to take every precaution they think necessary to protect themselves, especially if you're older. We are right now in the process of deciding, and we likely will appeal that ruling, but stay tuned.
Now, Dr. Madison says if you do want to practice one-way masking, cloth masks like this, they are not enough. She recommends getting an N95. If you'd like to get one for free, head over to our website, news3lv.com. You'll find the link to the CDC's website.
The power outage up on Mount Charleston right now is not unexpected. They do this from time to time on purpose.
That's right. Because of the high winds, they have forced NV Energy, of course, to shut off the power to prevent a forest fire. As News 3's Denise Rosh explains, customers were given notice to prepare, but some of them say it wasn't enough.
Winds in the canyon today are no joke, with gusts above 60 miles an hour. Couple that with very low humidity and the fire danger jumps. Cutting the power is all about safety.
I'm not upset that they shut the power off. I understand that. I'd like to see more being done, getting the polls update us. What are you doing? What have you done?
Kathy Horton says it's not the first time this has happened.
Oh, more than once, several times.
NV Energy cutting power to about 470 customers in Kyle Canyon. The reason, gusting winds and the potential threat of a forest fire.
So first and foremost, I just want to emphasize that this is about public safety.
Jesse Murray is the utility's vice president of electric delivery.
Even a well-maintained power line, if debris or trees get into those lines, they can cause an arc or a spark, which then generates a fire.
Exactly what happened last summer in Northern California when a power line from Pacific Gas and Electric made contact with a tree. The Dixie Fire burning more than 963,000 acres across 5 counties. Here in Nevada, crews are taking no chances with the weather, even deploying temporary cellular-on-wheels devices in front of the retreat on Mount Charleston.
Cellular communication systems can become overwhelmed if you get into an emergency situation. And so deploying additional units that can handle that additional cell phone traffic is really important so that those residents can stay in contact if an emergency were to arise.
NV Energy has also set up a communications resource center inside the hotel. Mountain residents can get ice, water, and phone chargers. The power cut Monday morning just before 7. It could be 24 hours before it's back.
Part of our process in re-energizing the mountain is that we have to go out and patrol all of the power lines. We have to do that in the daylight for safety reasons.
As for Horton,
we worry about the fire danger. Everybody does, especially on the years that we don't have the volume of snow.
She can appreciate the danger, even having piles of dry pine needles cleared from in front of her home. What she wants is more information from NV Energy.
Like, I just bought all my groceries on Sunday, not knowing that this was going to happen. I wouldn't have bought the sour cream, cottage cheese, mayonnaise, all that stuff that will go bad in New York second.
County commissioners spent time this afternoon listening to what the public thinks they should do as they work on rules for cannabis consumption lounges.
Yeah, News 3's Steve Wolford went to the special county workshop, and he joins us live in the newsroom with the details on how it all went.
Yeah, that's right. The cannabis consumption lounges were approved by state lawmakers last summer, but it's pretty clear from today's meeting that even with everything that's been learned about the way these should be implemented, there's still a long way to go to get these finalized.
It would be a nice thing if all of us were walking in lockstep.
Commission Chair Jim Gibson on the big challenge of basing Clark County's cannabis consumption lounge regulations on the requirements still being drafted by the State Cannabis Compliance Board, and at the same time consider public input during today's workshop.
I think is to have the local governments and the state governments work in tandem. We don't want to get too far behind and then have this thing delayed. So hopefully we can get on board, work closely with the state to make sure that we aren't the delay. We want to get this thing moving as fast as possible.
Based on the Cannabis Compliance Board's current draft, consumption lounges will be banned within certain distances of gaming establishments, schools, community facilities, and must be permanently attached to the sales facility. Local jurisdictions can increase the distances if they choose, as well as restrict the number of locations, hours, entertainment, and set enforcement, something Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick brought up.
I don't feel we're ready for consumption lounges, but here they are and we got to regulate them. I would like to see, as the county, that we look at some caps so that they don't all end up in one area.
Regulations on inspections and zoning also need to be finalized, and Cannabis Compliance Board Executive Director Tyler Klimas says guidelines for lounge staff training will be critical.
Training is going to be a huge component. They're already in the draft regulations, so we want to ensure staff at these lounges are trained and well-versed in trying to identify anybody who may be over-consuming or has already over-consumed.
We're wondering, really no fireworks during the public input today. The Cannabis Compliance Board says that it'll have its final draft of its regulations ready to go in time for its public workshop next week. And it should be ready to vote on by late summer or early fall, and that would then clear the way for the licenses to start being issued by the end of the year.
Hi everybody, I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.